It is actually a call to action. We are religious leaders under the umbrella body of the National Council of Churches of Kenya have met on this 27th day of February 2024 at the ACK St. Crispin's Cathedral, Bungoma, to deliberate and review the prevailing socio-economic and political state of our nation and the county, and more so to reflect on the ongoing constitutional and democratic governance processes with the view of providing pastoral guidance to the duty bearers and right holders of a successful and prosperous nation and our county. Our broad discussions are geared towards improving accountability and transparency in service delivery, highlighting the challenges affecting our people, and also strengthening the rule of law by promoting peaceful coexistence and cohesion among all residents in this place. Our discussions have been guided by the words of the Holy Scripture, as is written in Matthew chapter 16, verse 13 to 17. In respect of the above, we humbly wish to state as follows. We take note that the report from the Control of Budget stating that Bungoma is one of the counties that have spent less than 1% of its revenue on development, with the balance going to recurrent expenditure. This has adversely affected local businesses as well as watering down the development aspirations of Bungoma. We want to urge His Excellency, the Governor, to address this mismatch in use of public funds. On the same note, the County Executive should clear the huge amount of pending bills as they affect local business community. The County Government of Bungoma has also not prioritized completion of stalled projects in the county, including those initiated in the last regime. These stalled projects, including the dual carriageway and Jebkube Market, are one of the projects that we had to discuss about in this meeting. With the ongoing development of Masinde Muliro Stadium, we do feel that the dual carriageway should be completed in readiness for the Madaraka Day preparations that will be hosted in Bungoma County on June 1st, 2024. We observe that the Constitution guarantees public participation in democratic and constitutional governance processes at all levels of devolution. And this public participation framework is broken, as evidenced by the recent demolitions of roadside businesses and kiosks in Kandui, Chebukube, Bungoma Town Center, Sokomkubwa, as well as ensuing public demonstrations that called for armed police for the purposes of intervention. We implore His Excellency the Governor to guarantee thorough consultations with the populace to prioritize or to implement such drastic measures that have impacted on the people's means of subsistence. As human rights perspective should be used in such interventions, the county ought to think about offering assistance to the impacted companies in order to lessen the losses they sustain. That the church, we are now also stressing that the church should also be able to be consulted, but at the same time we also back the eviction and demolitions in the town, but have to be done in line with the Constitution and not just to demolish without consulting others. Our gender-based violence cases, which are marked by a very high rate of teenage pregnancies, defilement, rape, and incest, these have increased significantly in our county. So the negative attention that Bungoma County has received has impacted the counties and its residents' perception. So we demand that the national and local governments, the parent and teachers associations, the civil society work together to combat this pandemic that is endangering the next generation. Similarly, drug and alcohol and other substance abuse are on the rise. So to eradicate these social vices, cooperation and teamwork are required. We ought to give up placing blame and pointing fingers and do the job in the right way. On the same note, we want to urge the county government through the gender department to operationalize the rescue center at Ndengelwa in Kandui in order to shelter the many affected girls and women in the region. In the run-up to the 2027 elections, we have observed a rise in the political activity in the campaigns of politicians affiliated with both the sides of the government and also in the opposition. Political campaigns should wait until later, and this is the height of the political class as self-interest. Politicians ought to concentrate on providing services and carrying out the agenda and also manifestos prior to elections. We strongly advise politicians who are discussing running for specific seats in 2027 not to do so. That the oversight role of an elected leader is wanting, and this is likely to compromise service delivery in our county. And as I conclude now, members, we, the religious leaders, are the voice of reason in the county in particular. And we now want to advocate for a meaningful change in our society. So we call upon all religious leaders to unite and speak with courage on the social issues affecting our communities without fear or favor. We remain open to a facilitative dialogue with our county and also national leaders to find a solution to the various issues that are of concern to Bungoma County and the nation as a whole. One issue that is affecting this is what I would call retrogressive cultures that we still embrace in our society. Parents are not taking a keen interest in taking care of their children in a way that many people expected. And when you find a girl has been raped, you will see parents running to the culprits to negotiate a settlement, and sometimes they are paid something, and then they fail to report to the police and the relevant agencies to be able to deal with such an issue. And I think that has been a sort of encouragement to so many people who are, living in such a dangerous areas, and especially those who have a habit of raping children, to continue doing that. And that's why we are seeing an increase in numbers. And the second thing is that we have been emphasizing as a church that we need to get many, and if not all, these girls and boys into schools. And that's why we are encouraging the county government and national government on the issues of scholarships to ensure that no child who has been through class 8 is left back at home simply because the parents cannot raise the necessary school fees to place such a child into a secondary school. Once we educate our girls and boys, they will be able to know their rights well, and therefore they will stand up and say, we do not want to do this. We want to continue up to university, secure employment, and then our livelihoods will be much more improved. As a church, we are planning, and one of the issues that we have discussed here is about those rescue centers. Because apart from the school-going children, We also have women in our society who have been raped, and those who have been battered by their husbands and even relatives to their husbands. And because they cannot run away, this trend is continuing. And there are certain areas within our county, and particularly in Kenya as a whole, which are so fond of beating up their wives and even maiming some. So we are urging that the government establishes centers, and if they are already established, like the one we are talking about at Ndengelwa, they should be operationalized so that our women can be rescued and possibly be trained in some kind of skills like accountancy or maybe tailoring and doing some weaving, and when they leave such a centers, they should be able to be self-reliant, and therefore that will avoid so many things to happen when they are in such a cruel marriage. So the church is praying, the church is training. We have groups that we're training, and we will continue to advocate for zero tolerance to this kind of rape and also gender-based violence in our region.